리차드 콜트라이트 박사님과 함께 영재와 관련된 잘못된 개념들과 소크라테스식 교수법, 비판적 사고, 그리고 듀크 팁에 대해서 알아보도록 하겠습니다. 리차드 콜트라이트 박사님은 현재 미국 영재교육 프로그램 중에 하나인 듀크 팁에서 영재교육 전문가로 일하시고 계십니다. 40년 이상을 교육계에서 초등학교와 중학교 선생님, 영재교육 관리자로서 살아오셨습니다. 노스캐롤라이나의 여러 대학교에서 교수를 하셨고요. The University of North Carolina, 채플 힐에서 학사, 석사, 박사를 영재교육 중심으로 받으셨습니다. 공동 저술하신 책이 여러 권 있는데요. 미국 전역과 그리고 세계에서 자문 역할을 하시고 각종 워크숍에서 다양한 코스를 가르치고 계십니다. 안녕하세요.
Good morning.
Part 1. 영재라는 개념은 어렵기 때문에 많은 오해가 생기기 마련인데요. 가장 문제가 된다고 생각하는 영재를 둘러싼 오해 5가지를 여기에서 소개해주세요.
In speaking with teachers and with parents about gifted and talented kids, I often encounter a variety of myths, misinformation and disinformation about who these kids are, what their characteristics are, and what their needs are. First of all, as a teacher, the idea that differentiation in the regular classroom is sufficient to meet the needs of a gifted student is something I just don't agree with. In the first place, the teacher is spread too thinly across many students with a wide array of needs. And then the second issue is that that teacher may have no training in the area of gifted education. And in many cases, the teacher doesn't even like gifted children, feels threatened by their skills and their knowledge, and winds up being defensive and doesn't want to work with those kids. It takes someone who has a special interest in and training to meet the needs of those kids and to serve them well. Another myth is the expectation that if you're gifted, you're going to do everything well, that you're going to succeed at whatever you attempt to do no matter what, and that you're going to be able to perform at a high level across all domains. Well, I'm a good example. I'm very good with language, with reading, with speaking. My wife does not let me touch the bank account because at math, I'm terrible. Gifted kids are like that. They're uneven in their skill development, and it's just not appropriate to expect them to perform at high levels across all domains. Another area that is especially troubling, I think, in the democracy of the United States is a misconception that people have that has been called nature compensates. The idea is that nature finds a way to balance things. So if you are a very attractive, beautiful woman, then you must be dumb as a post because nature compensates. Or if you're a man and you have high intellectual ability, you must be a puny, sickly weakling with thick glasses that nature compensates. The research shows that gifted kids on measures of virtually any area, physical, social, emotional, career, to be gifted is to be as good as the general population or to the better, that there is no notion of nature compensates. In fact, my colleague here at TIP, who does research, Matt Makel, Matt talks about the Matthew effect, a reference to the New Testament in the Christian tradition in the Gospel of Matthew that says the rich get richer. And that seems to be the case with gifted kids. You want to say that's not fair, that they have so much going for them in so many ways, because nature does not compensate. Another myth that is problematic is in education in the United States, we talk about research-based practices, that schools are told to do things that are grounded in research. Well, the research is clear on gifted kids. Acceleration works. Either moving them by skipping a grade to a higher grade level, or by bringing the material from a higher grade level down to them, that they get access to work that is a match for what they're ready to do, that they're ready to know and know how to do the skills and knowledge from a higher grade level. But in our society, principals, administrators, leaders are very reluctant and even are oppositional to the idea of grade skipping for a variety of reasons. And that's unfortunate, because even as we're saying, look at the research, they'll look at the research and they don't even want to pay attention to it. They think there are going to be negative consequences from acceleration when we know that's not the case. The other major myth that exists is that intelligence is fixed and immutable, that it cannot be changed, that once you have an IQ score, that's going to be your intelligence for life. And what we know is children are malleable. We know that children rise to the level of challenge. I'm not saying all children are gifted, but I am saying that all children have potential for growth in their intellectual power. And we really need to stop thinking about intelligence as fixed and think about it as something that, as educators, we can have an impact on and change. Carol Dweck's work currently in the field of mindset, I think, speaks directly to that notion. We have to stop thinking of intelligence as fixed and stuck in place, but that is something that's an alterable variable that we can help students grow and develop.
박사님은 오랜 세월 동안 매우 다양한 영재적 행동을 보이는 아이와 어른들을 연구하면서 현장에서 또 목격하셨는데요. 물론 너무나 다양한 캐릭터가 존재하기 때문에 구분하기가 쉽지는 않겠지만 가장 흔하게 영재들이 보여주는 행동이나 특성이 있나요?
Lots of people have different perspectives on the characteristics. The first thing I share with parents and teachers is that there is not one characteristic that is true of gifted individuals, children or adults, that is not true of other human beings. That the characteristics of all human beings exist in the gifted individual, but to a greater degree. As individuals, they are not quantitatively different, they're qualitatively different. Their characteristics are such that what calls them to our attention is they are doing things that you would expect of a much older individual. That Midori playing violin on the stage of Carnegie Hall at the age of 32 is impressive. But when she was 4 years old playing on the stage of Carnegie Hall, it's incredibly powerful. And it's that notion of being able to do and perform at a level that is typical of a much older child. So it's not something that no other human being has ever done, but it's the age at which they begin to be able to do it. Early reading, early language, even early facility with mathematics. That's what calls them to our attention. Another aspect of these characteristics is that, again, referring to the research of Lewis Terman and his longitudinal study of gifted students, to be gifted is good news, and that the characteristics that follow you through life tend to be an advantage for gifted kids. There was a time at the beginning of the previous century when a parent who had a child who was precocious, or heaven forbid, a prodigy, would be terrified that their child was going to grow up to be mad or insane, and that there was something wrong with that precocity. Now we know that gifted kids have gifted parents, and that gifted kids grow up to be gifted adults and tend to be successful and very happy and satisfied with their experiences in life. Another characteristic is that giftedness occurs in a number of different realms besides just intellectual power. There is giftedness in creativity. There's an interesting paradox in the research that shows that although I believe, creativity is an intellectual process, creativity is only modestly correlated with intelligence. You can have a high level of intelligence and a modest level of creativity. And conversely, some individuals have high creativity and a relatively low level of intelligence, and then some are high in both domains, and it just seems to work out differently in different people. Leadership is an area of giftedness that we don't pay enough attention to, especially as we're nurturing youngsters who are going to grow up to fill societal roles that involve leadership. And then, of course, what may seem self-evident is the area of fine and performing arts. Those who dance, those who perform in music or acting in drama. That's a form of gifted and talented as well. What is also characteristic of these individuals is they are out of sync with their age mates. They have developmental milestones that they reach at a different age. So you have a 7-year-old who knows how to play chess and tries to teach her playmates how to play chess, and they want to play with the little horse and bounce it around as if it's a horse, no interest in learning the complexities of the game, and it can be very frustrating for that youngster who is advanced in their development. Linda Silverman and her colleagues in the Columbus group refer to this as asynchronous development. And the notion being the higher the level of intelligence, the greater this asynchrony, this out of step the student can be. And again, because they're not advanced in all areas. A 6-year-old might be 10 years old while playing the piano or playing chess, but a 6-year-old while trying to ride a bike or tie her shoelaces, or a 3-year-old when asked to sit down and behave in kindergarten. The asynchronous development varies dramatically within these individuals.
본인이 영재성이 있다라고 생각을 하거나 영재 어린이를 둔 부모님들에게 권해줄 만한 조언이 있으시다면 해주세요.
In my role at Duke Tip, and in previous years when I was in public education as a teacher and as a program administrator, I have spoken with many parents about issues regarding their children and growing up. The first thing that I suggest to parents, especially of younger children, is follow the lead of your child. You will never go wrong if you're inquiring about what they're interested in and what they want to learn more about, and then provide the child with the opportunities to explore that, either through the library, museums, travel. Parents who make a mistake in raising their children are those who tend to say, I will decide for you what you need to study. Now, there are some things that as a parent you want your child to do just to better themselves. So piano lessons, as a matter of you will do piano because it will enrich your life. That's okay to do. But to say, I want you to be a world-class pianist and nothing else in your life matters but playing the piano because that's what I want, is a mistake. If you can't tear the child away from the keyboard and they want to play the piano, you're following the child's lead when you provide them with a good teacher and opportunities to learn more. But it's following the child's lead that makes the difference. And then related to that, a second issue is you have to seek out the best teachers you can find to nurture the talents of your child. Teachers make a difference. Benjamin Bloom, in his work, Talent Development, pointed out that these world-class performers in gymnastics and tennis and chess and music that he studied, each one had a mentor, a coach, someone who inspired them and compelled them to work at a more challenging level, to succeed at a higher level than they ever thought they could. The teacher makes a difference. It really does. And related to that, you have to be an advocate for your child. You have to be willing to rub some people the wrong way. You have to agitate a little bit because you need to be there to make sure your child gets what's needed, and to not be afraid of being accused of being a stage door mom or being a nuisance. The truth is, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. And parents of children with disabilities learned many decades ago, advocating to policymakers about meeting those needs is essential to putting programs in place in schools so that those children are given the opportunity to learn. The parents of gifted children need to have that same kind of a sense of advocacy and pushing for what their child needs and supporting the child and not feeling guilty for asking what's appropriate. It's not about asking for more than what other children get. It's about asking for what's appropriate and insisting that a child not have to sit in school until April before they first encounter something they don't already know or know how to do. And the last thing that I talk to parents about a great deal is being mindful that being gifted doesn't make you a better human being. It doesn't make you a superior person. All children are precious. Some have knowledge and skills that makes them gifted. That doesn't make them more worthy as human beings. And so I talk to parents about being aware that giftedness is about being better at, not being better than, and not looking to their child's giftedness as a means to social climbing or looking for higher status within their community because of their child's abilities, but being aware that even as they're advocating, they're not saying my child is more deserving of others. It's my child is as deserving of others. And here are the needs. What can we do to address those needs?
I think the last one is really important, especially in East Asia. They value academic achievement so highly.
Mm-hmm.
So like almost equal equation, being a good student is like morally good.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely, and to a degree that exists here in the United States with what has been termed the Protestant ethic, that the notion of you work hard to and aspire to high-level performance, and you are rewarded for that, which makes you a morally better person. I don't think that's how that works.
One of my best friends, when we were high school students, she just interests me. Mom, she's a good student. Still, I'm so old, but still, in her mind, Dawn is a good person.
That equals to being a good person of good character, and not necessarily.
Yes. I was such a troublemaker.
2.
비판적 사고 기술이란 무엇을 말하나요? 매우 쉽게 설명 좀 해주세요.
Critical thinking skills are about the process of engaging students' intellect in addition to their memory.